Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United at the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes down. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United from the National League are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sutton United Talk Time podcast. I'm the host Mike, and joining me today we've got Claire. Hello, how are
Hi,
you?
Mike.
How are you today?
I'm buoyant after an afternoon at Gander Green Lane, that's for sure.
I know, I missed it today, and go on, talk us through.
I have to admit that after yesterday afternoon, I wasn't exactly thrilled with the idea of watching some football, and I missed the first half because I was up in town. Managed to get back for the second half and a cracking 3-0 win for the women's team against Millwall, which was nice after Millwall did us 5-1 back in September. So it was a nice turn of the tides there. So it was some really great stuff actually from the women today. So that was nice.
Looking forward to seeing. Hopefully, it was filmed. Darcy's goal.
Darcy's goal was really, really good, and Chappers would like to have it noted that she is 42 and she went up against a youngster and she scored. So she did very well.
Okay, we'll so yeah, that's taking away the club news.
Sorry,
that's fine. That's great. So, do you know what? I haven't even researched how long it was since you were last on, but aside from football, everything going well with you?
Yeah, no, it's been very, very busy. I think we're into, the embers of the season, as it were, I think, but it has been a very, very busy, hectic one this year, I think, since taking up this SLO post. So it's kept me busy. And I'd like to think that this close season is going to be nice and quiet, but I know that that is not the case and that there's lots of things going on behind the scenes. So, yeah, a little bit of a break would be nice. Less travelling, I guess. But, already thinking about next year, which is good.
Absolutely. And it's clinging on to these positives. Next year is League Two. Right, let's go through the match really, really quick. Let's do what we can. Line-up, obviously no Eastie. Matt's kind of pointed out, I think, I can't remember if it was before or after the game, that Louis is also not going to be seen this season. So there was no Will. Obviously, Dan from Ganamodium does quite frequently biscuits. So we kind of knew Will wouldn't be up for it. Josh obviously got that ankle thing, so he's on the bench. But what were you kind of thinking at line-up stage? I mean, I know they needed something from this match to absolutely be sure, but were you hoping, or were you just like, we'll run?
I went into it reasonably optimistic, and I don't know why, because that's not my default position. But I did think, we're in with a good shout this afternoon. Kane perhaps not your first choice of lineup, but thought it would give other people an opportunity to kind of step up and prove themselves. And give them a chance in the spotlight. So, I was reasonably optimistic going into it, thought we might get something out of it. But then I guess there's the bit perhaps that I was foolish to think about. I thought, they're not doing very well. They're down there, which actually probably is the catalyst for wanting to battle that little bit harder to make sure that they're not going down. So, I probably didn't factor that into my optimism. But more for me, really, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a trap we all fall into, play the league table rather than anything else. But, I mean, in fairness, the first
15 minutes. First 15 minutes, cracking football. Dave's goal, cracking goal, up until kind of, to be fair, up until they really equalised, you're kind of thinking, this seems to work. Everyone seems to be gelling. Actually, maybe this team, without those kind of people that you've mentioned, is going to do all right this afternoon. And was, happy in my optimism still. But as soon as they equalised, it was almost like just the tides changed completely. And we just, throughout the rest of the game, we just looked so weak defensively that you just couldn't see anything kind of going our way. It was quite, I mean, as soon as the ball went anywhere near the goal, I was slightly panicking, not because of anything that Jack would do, but more just because I didn't feel like we were as strong in defence as we had been previously.
Yeah, I think their first one, though, was a bit of a horror show. I'm not
sure
what body part he scored with. I suspect the groin, but it kind of slid in. It hit him.
Yeah.
It's like, do you know what? If that was us, that would have bounced off to Rose Ed and got nowhere. Yeah. I think when they scored their second, which again was another not...
they were scrappy. They were absolutely scrappy. And I don't think that at that point you could really think to yourself, well, they deserve to be, 2-1 up.
I thought, oh my God, it's one of my predictions going to come true. Because I was like, when I was speaking to the Colchester fan last week, both teams very shot shy, they don't score much. And I was like, oh my God, I joked saying it could be 5-5. And 2-1 after however long, I was like, oh my God, this could come true.
5 would have been much nicer, Mike, that's for sure.
But, they went 3-1 up, and then just before half time, they had a very odd chance. I think a lot of us have argued about this because myself and my brother Dave, who I sat with, we were absolutely adamant that should have been offside. And then Steve informed me that it came off of, I don't know, some obscure body part, perhaps his foot or his arm, or I don't know. And therefore it wasn't offside. But it would have been an absolute shocker if it had been there. I mean, it's pointless to argue about it now, but I wasn't quite sure what happened. It's always hard to tell when it's that far away as well. Yeah. I mean, on the third goal, I think Ben injured himself, and he didn't score, but could have been the fourth before half-time. I think it came off Ben, but I always thought it had to be deliberate on the ball, but I suppose...
I just think we were saying that how they've mucked around with the offside rule so many times that it's kind of hard to know what's right from wrong anymore, and it seems like the officials don't actually know anymore, so they're all just making it up as they go along.
Just realised how old we sound. Well, they've missed around with the offside.
Oh, they don't know what they're doing. It's not worth the paper it's written on. Yes,
Take us back to the 50s. Go on. Anyway, mentioned Ben got injured, whipped off at half time.
Yeah.
Rather jokingly say, well, it makes sense because we're not defending anyway. But it doesn't, again, that doesn't sound like a good one.
Nope.
Matt, again, he didn't say it, but it sounded like that's been done. Gives us other problems.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all match injuries again, on the training ground.
Yeah.
But we don't have the depth of the squad anymore.
I think it is worrying, but I mean, I think we've talked about this just before we started recording, and I know that, we've got to this point of the season where a few weeks back, we're thinking, we're in with a chance here. And we really, all thought that we were going to go all guns blazing into our last few games and really try and push for that playoff spot. And I don't doubt for a second that's absolutely what the boys wanted to do. And, things have gone the way they've gone. But it does feel like now, especially with the injuries that we've sustained in the last few weeks, that you're limping towards the finish line. And it's hard to balance your emotions because on one hand, you feel massively disappointed that you haven't made the playoffs, potentially for the second year in a row, you haven't quite made the playoffs and you've just missed out on that spot. But then there's this other part of me, which I'm sure many people feel the same. It's like, I feel hard done by that we've finished, in the top half of the table in our second year as a Football League club. And I know that argument will start to wear thin after a while, but I just never thought we'd be here. And we're not struggling. We're absolutely holding our own. We're competing. Yeah, we've had a bad run of form last kind of 5 games and things haven't gone the way that any of us would have hoped they would have done. But we still have a lot to be incredibly proud of this season. We're not in a position of kind of going, oh, well, at least there are 2 clubs that are worse than us and they're going down kind of thing. We're up there. Yeah. We're just not quite, we feel hard done by for something that is incredible in itself.
Yeah, I mean, I tweeted earlier because I looked at my Facebook memories, and it's 7 years ago today that we won the Conference South. So it's like, okay, that's
Puts things in.
8 years ago we were Conference South team. And again, happy to be there, happy to, so on. So yeah, I mean, losing a League Two game obviously feels better than losing a Ryman game, but it is losing a game, and I think
absolutely.
There was a lot of comments yesterday. Usual suspect comments, always saying similar things. There was a lot of people going, hang on a minute, the first time I've ever really felt like a Sutton team in the last few years have.
And I think there's probably a lot of people who, I mean, you know, we've been around for a while. God, I'm making us sound old again. We've been around for a while, and we've experienced our fair share of disappointment as Sutton fans. We've been through those really hard times. We've seen us be relegated. You know, we've gone through really tough spells. There are a lot of, you know, newer fans. When I say newer fans, I mean people that have still been around for like 5-10 years or whatever, who've never really experienced any kind of long string of bad form or massive amounts of disappointment, because they've seen some really incredible stuff. We've been absolutely spoilt with it. So it's really hard then when you get those moments to get it. I mean, I always think about like, I think it was Joe said to Dylan when we played, Arsenal, don't get used to this. Like, this is as good as it's ever going to get kind of thing. Yeah. Like, this is as much as you're ever going to experience as a Sutton fan. And then, you know, he's playing League Two football and he gets to go to Wembley. Like, we've done all right. Yeah.
I mean, a couple of times it's come up in interviews, and again, always try and put things in positive, but it's like, I'm hearing this a lot. Uncharacteristic mistakes, not kind of goals that we concede. And it's like, well, it is, because we're conceding them and we're saying them week after week. I mean, do we think we got to that magic 50 points and we were just like, are we going to make the playoffs? Or
no, I've debated this with a few people as well, and I think a lot of some people have a thing of like, oh, well, it's like we got to 50 and we just gave up. And I don't think that's the case at all. And, you know, knowing Matt, I don't believe that he would tolerate that as an attitude in any way, shape or form. Because it's certainly not what he's putting out himself. I do think there's a genuine drive and will to want to succeed and do well and be the best that we can possibly be. I think, again, we've been unlucky with some injuries, as we were at other points, you know, this season. It's absolutely gutting if that's been out for the last few, given that he missed the vast majority of the season anyway. Like, it's hard, isn't it, to balance those things? But I really don't think that the 50 points is a bad. I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think people gave up. I just think it hasn't gone the way that the plans were, and I think that there'll be a real. I would assume there'll be a real reflection of this over the summer as to what that means for who's left and who we bring in and the recruitment and the stuff in that space. And I know that the team that work on that, you know, have thoughts and plans, and I trust them. So
yeah, this is it. I mean, we'll probably have some of that in a sec. But yeah, it's just difficult to say. I mean, there's obviously a lot of the comments on players and whatnot.
I did hear someone yesterday, and this did make me laugh. I can't remember who it was, and I shouldn't name names anyway, but someone said, oh, we're already on the beach, to which somebody retorted, if we were on the beach, we couldn't even find our own towels at this point, which really did make me laugh, but it's terrible. But I don't think it's quite like that at all. But
I've kind of pointed out a couple of times, wonderful knowledge, but it's essentially the same group of players that have been playing at 110, 120% 2-3 years. You can't keep going back to the same well and going, yep, we need a bit more, we need a bit more. So there's going to be a drop in.
I think that's fair, and I think you get that in any job, any kind of, you know, you keep giving something to a certain level. There's only so much left in the tank, isn't there? You're absolutely right.
Right. Well, what we'll do is we will very quickly talk about Player of the Day.
I have one person written on my post-it note.
Okay. I haven't even thought about it. So I'll tell you what we'll do the jingle.
Okay.
As I have given myself half a second to think.
Now watch me do my dance. I'm the player of the day.
Right. It's not
That wasn't long enough for you to think, was it?
It's gonna, judging from people's reactions, and obviously I wasn't just below par before. So whatever name you've got written down, they're going to be player of the day.
Okay, well that's easy then, isn't it?
Yeah. So there will be player of the day. So who won player of the day yesterday?
Player of the day goes to David Adjeboy for his goal.
Dave Adjeboy for the goal. Okay. I mean, you could make a case, I suppose, that if it's going to be based on the goal, you could say Indio put a cross in.
I mean, you could, in which case we've got 2 people to vote for.
Donovan done something, but I'm just going to go with Dave got a goal, and that would be fine because yeah.
Yeah, you could put Jason in there for not getting booked this weekend.
I'm not sure I'm going to take the comments when I put up 4 names of what, who, how did you do that? Unless we went with Dundo, Hish.
If he had made it onto the pitch and hadn't been taken off of the subs bench, I absolutely would have nominated him. His 7, I think Andy told me yesterday, he's played 7 minutes of league football this season, and that is not enough. I know, but it's not enough.
No.
I think bring him and Luke Gambin on next Saturday. What's the worst that can happen?
Exactly. Well, mention next Saturday, very, very quickly. I spoke with Charlotte, who is Rochdale Her Game 2 ambassador. So I'm just going to pop the interview in here and, well worth listening to. And now to up the proceedings and lighten the mood a little bit from the depressing conversation I've just had, is Rochdale fan Charlotte. Or actually, let me just check my notes. Attention-seeking Munter from Rochdale.
That's me.
I always love that. I saw that, I think obviously you're the Her Game 2 ambassador to anyone who doesn't know for Rochdale. And I think I saw that phrase first with Kaz and Lucy. So it is a bit of a badge of honour. And it does make me laugh that someone supporting Rochdale gets called an attention seeker. There's a few other clubs you might have chosen nearby, but...
This is what really makes me laugh as well, because I've been called an attention seeker. I've been called, apparently, I am fake that I like football. And I think to myself, if I was to fake that I liked football, I would pick a bigger club with more happiness. Because as much as I love Rochdale, they don't bring me many happy times, especially at the minute. So honestly, it's laughable. And I've just got to the point now where it used to really get to me, but now I just laugh at it because I just think if that's what it takes for you to brighten your day, just go ahead, because it really doesn't bother me. If it makes you happy, then fair play.
Well, I was just saying, I don't often... You're one of the list of people I don't read the comments too much on. But I did read one earlier and someone's like, do you know what? They've got to spend their whole day with them. Just leave them be. You're only interacting with a little tiny part of their life. But there was one comment that you did have a few weeks ago that I did take a lot of umbrage with. Mini eggs over Cadbury's cream eggs. I'm not having that. That's outrageous. You just deserve prison for that. I'm sorry.
Mini eggs all the way. Don't get me wrong. I am partial to a cream egg. But just mini eggs, just everything about them, the smell, the taste, the little pastel colours. I'm a fan of pastel colours. Just everything about them. I'm a fan.
Well, I would admit there was someone who they did an experiment on a Cadbury's cream egg, and they bought the Easter egg and they broke it open and they filled it with the cream inside, and they were like, it takes 30 cream eggs. And I was like, I feel sick just looking at this. I can't possibly understand how it would be that someone would want to eat that. But yeah. Cream eggs, definitely, I'm sorry. We'll disagree with you forever on that.
We'll agree to disagree.
But on the Her Game 2, obviously you wouldn't know, I support it quite a lot. And I especially love the 2 bit at the end, because I feel that's just such a statement. And I think that is so good because it can always refer back to, no, it's not replace, it's 2. But what is it about the campaign that sort of speaks to you? Why do you jump on getting involved? Because you've been involved for quite a while. It's only a couple of years old, isn't it?
Yeah. I was actually named ambassador. It was March last year, and it was on the 11th, so it was my birthday. So I'll always remember that. Got on board with the campaign quite early. They got on board, I think it was October 2021. So they were one of the clubs to obviously get involved quite early, because the campaign started May that year. So obviously, with Rochdale getting involved, I always had an idea to do a podcast, but from a female's point of view, but I was always quite scared to do that. So that kind of spurred me on to obviously get involved in a podcast, which is a Dale Way. And from there, me and Isabel, my co-host, kind of met. She wanted to do the same thing. We released a trailer. And we had Lucy on from Her Game too, Bristol Rovers fan, who's honestly, she's amazing. She was talking about her experiences, and from that episode, it just kind of went off. We ended up with hearing on different YouTube channels, Twitch channels, different podcasts, a program feature in the official program, which we still have today. And I kind of pledged my support to the campaign, and then Her Game 2 obviously said, I think you'll be a great candidate. You should get involved. So I put my name forward and obviously named ambassador, which is amazing. But yeah, I think it's just something I'm so passionate about because, as you mentioned, it's Her Game too. And I think that's where a lot of people kind of get a bit, because they think we're here to take over, which we're not. We just want to we want our opinions to be taken on board just as much as other people's as well, whether you're male, female, whether you're black, white, whatever race you are, sexual orientation, we just want to be involved too and have our say. So I think that's where people kind of do get a little bit mixed up, because they do think we are here to take over football, which we're really not. We just want to be involved. We just want to have our say too, just as much as everyone else.
Yeah, you can talk as much crap as me. That's fine.
I probably talk more of it as well.
Yeah, exactly. I've been around football for a long time, and people's opinion are ridiculous. It's just like, no, honestly, anyone can have this rubbish opinion. It's not just you. It's fine. But you also do it quite sort of positive mental health wise as well. I know there's a few different things that you sometimes not had the best days, and I've sent you little messages. Keep up, but you're really sort of a bit of a champion there as well, which is amazing. So is that any sort of official capacity, or you just no, people need to do that?
I've always been open with my struggles, like a lot of people, whether it be from the Her Game 2 side, whether it be just following me on social media, whether you know me in person. I've always been really open. I suffer from anxiety and depression, and there's been a time in my life where obviously I've not been positive and I've needed that lift, but I've not kind of felt like I had it, or I weren't able to talk to people, and that's just me trying to be strong, not wanting to, but kind of show vulnerability sometimes. But it's okay to be vulnerable, and me having such a large following online, I want to kind of use it in the right way, because I know a lot of people to pick me up, whether it's a positive quote, whether it's something funny that's happened in my day, whether it's just something to make them smile. I think there's a lot of people struggling in the world, and as much as I'm not going to change the world, a simple tweet or a simple comment could change somebody's day and put a positive spin on it.
Yeah, I mean, I decided at work, you know what, I'm going to tell people that when I struggle, it is such a sort of a stigma around it that people think mention it, and when they see someone like me just going, yeah, I'm having a really crap day, sorry everyone. I had a rule at work that if I was grumpy before sort of 9:30, someone could just be like, sure you're okay? And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, let me snap out of this. And I just think the more people that talk about it is the better. The one thing that I really try not to do, because I know what works for me, I've got a bit of a dark humour, as when everyone says, you should do this or you should do that. It's like, for you, it doesn't want to work for everyone. Yeah. So I think I told you the one that works for the when you're having that anxiety, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Where I struggled with it is I kept forgetting what order it was supposed to be in. But then I thought, the more I was thinking about what order it's supposed to be in, the more I was getting, actually, you're calming down now, aren't you? It's working it's anyway. Mad. It's not how it's supposed to. It's
hard what works for other people, but yeah, it's just something I'm really passionate about, and because obviously I've struggled as well, and I've been through a dark time in my life. I just want to try and make sure people are aware that it's okay to feel like this, and just because you're having one bad day, it doesn't mean you're going to have a bad life. The next day might be better. Yeah. Or if you are struggling, it's okay to be vulnerable and speak to people.
Yeah, because, oh God, we're getting...
I know.
A lot of the problems are that spiralling thing. It's getting worse and worse and worse and worse until you say it out loud, and then you suddenly go, hang on a minute, that's quite as bad. And the other thing I tell myself and tell other people is try and give yourself the advice you would give a friend. Exactly. Because you always know what to do.
Exactly. I'm the worst for that. Yeah. I'm that friend what gives really, really good advice, but I do not take my own advice. Yeah, that is me. I am that friend.
Yeah. Right. coincidentally, on this subject, Sutton fans, Johnny Lowry, who's done the two Sutton books, the Added Six and the Centenary, or the 125-year book, he's actually just today, a couple of hours ago, said he's released another book, which I knew nothing about, and it's Match Fit. It's all about mental health. And he's got that on his thing as pre-order. So I'm going to look forward to reading that as well. So that was completely coincidence that it was all lined up. But hey, it worked. But we're going to have to talk about the season.
We have to.
Yeah. So I said yesterday to the missus, do you know what? I quite like Rochdale fans, but I really was hoping for you to lose yesterday because I didn't want it to be that Sutton put you down. So it was like mixed feelings here. But the news was kind of, you knew it was coming, but it was finalised yesterday. Glad it's over, or?
I've known it's been coming for a while now. As soon as, it sounds mad, but over Christmas when we played Hartlepool, and I thought it's done here. And then obviously you get a glimmer of hope with Jim McNulty obviously taking over for the recent games, that glimmer of hope. But then I just thought it's not happening. For me, it is a relief. It's done. And I've accepted relegation, but where I'm upset about and sad is not knowing obviously going to happen off the pitch now, because it's something that it's never happened with Rochdale. Like in, I think it's 102 years. We've been obviously a football league club. Yeah. So no one's like dealt with that before. Obviously we've not got a manager at the minute. I need to get my gyms right. There's that many gyms. Jim McNulty's obviously interim manager. Chris Dunphy put a statement out yesterday on his Facebook and said that he's wrote a statement to the current board and he wants full charge of it again. So we're just a bit confused really. There's just a lot going on behind the scenes now. So that's where my worry is at the minute. I've kind of accepted relegation. I accepted that months ago, but it's just a worry of where the club's going to be, because obviously we've seen Scunthorpe's struggles and whether we adapt to obviously non-league. We need a total rebuild. There's so many players out of contract. So that's just where my worry is, and that's where a lot of Rochdale fans' worries are.
Yeah, I mean, I think it actually was our Sarah who actually said to you yesterday that we spent most of our football league experience looking up at the National League, and we wish we were there. So it isn't the end of the world. It can sometimes reset. I know Tommy from Oldham's a bit down. He kind of got to that bad, actually. It's not the end of the world. I think Scunthorpe had bigger problems, or still do have much bigger problems. So there's issues there. But to Stockport, they came back. So you never know. It might be just the thing you need.
Like us Dale fans, we're kind of in two minds. We think we're going to have a season like Oldham have obviously had a good finish to the season now and gone up there, but we think we're going to potentially have a season like that, or obviously one like Scunthorpe. A lot of other fans are like, oh no, you'll come back up straight away, and I don't think they kind of get like what's going on behind the scenes. And earlier on in this season, our chairman come out and said, because we're a fan-owned club and we can't sustain being fan-owned and compete with obviously the other clubs, and that was obviously in League Two at that stage. I think National League now is a lot more competitive and there's a lot more clubs on higher budgets and stuff there. So I think that's going to be our struggle. So they are my only worries. It's more off the pitch than obviously National League, because we've came to grips with that a long time ago. It's just what's going to go on, and just uncertainty and not knowing, because there's a lot we've got to do this summer, a hell of a lot. Yes.
Yeah. So have there been any high points of the season? I know the low points, but have there been any high points for you this season?
Lloyd, he's got to be the, I'm not going to say only high point, because obviously we've had wins, and much as it's been frustrating and it's not been great performances still under Jim McNulty the ending of the season, and getting some of them results which we didn't expect, and kind of, even though we knew we were going, kind of a gap, wasn't there? Because we were really down and under kind of thing, but we've managed to pull a good few results. So obviously that's a high point. But yeah, I think it's just got to be Danny Lloyd. He's been amazing on and off the pitch. He's just been someone who has really took to him. he's been really open and honest. Even though he's only been there since Christmas, he kind of shares our pain when he loses a match. Obviously, he shares the good times when we win a match and stuff. And he's just someone who comes across as really nice guy, and really gutted because he'll be here next season. He deserves so much more of a National League. He's a quality player. But we never know. But yeah, unfortunately, I think he's going to get snapped up by another club. But yeah, he's been my highest point of the season.
Well, that's answered my next question of which players we're looking out for. So hopefully Matt's going to have a little chat with him on Saturday, snap him up. What do you kind of feel it's going to be like on Saturday? Is it going to be a bit of a party atmosphere that everyone's like, right, it's done? Or is it just going to be a bit like, no, there's going to be protests?
It'll be a mixed bag. I think it'll be a sense of relief because obviously now we're down. It wouldn't surprise me if we turn up to these next 2 games now. It really wouldn't surprise me and we pull off like 2 great results. But there's a lot of fans who are unhappy, do want to like vent the frustrations. I'm not saying majority are going to do that obviously at the game. A lot of it have done it on social media and stuff, but I think there will be some very vocal fans around and about. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me on the pitch if we did pull out a result, though. Honestly, that's what we did. That's what we did when we got relegated from League One. The game after, we pulled out a blinding result. It's just madness. It's as if the pressure's off. So it's become.
We've gone the other way. We've not won in 9, and we've lost the last 5. So yeah, you'll
batter us.
We're expecting a great time. Right, before I let you go, I have got one very, very important question. Now, you got away with I forgot to do the Who Are You jingle. You got away with the jingles, but I do have to question, what's your suggestion of Pub of the Week?
One because I've got 2. I have got 2. Obviously, we mentioned off there one of the Jaeger bombs. I wasn't going to say that, but that is a great pub, and definitely with it becoming the end of the season, you've definitely got to try out the Jaeger bomb challenge and see if you can beat all the others. I think Hartlepool were one of the ones, and Stockport who were up there.
Yeah.
So
I think the guys were saying we're just going to look at who's ever near the bottom, and we'll just go, well, we'll just beat them.
2 is the Cemetery Pub, which is near the ground. That's a great pub, really friendly atmosphere. And if you want to look more, obviously, near the ground, we've got one called the Rackley Farms, which is joined at the ground. They have a happy hour where the pints are cheaper. They play the match, whichever one's on at the dinner time and stuff. So that's for home and away fans. And usually it's a really good... with us Rochdale fans as well, we are a friendly bunch, don't get me wrong, so we do like interacting with the away fans. So yeah, are welcome there, and that's always a place I do recommend because it's really close to the ground.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on.
And no worries, we'll see you soon. Thank you. And now, for your thoughts. So Rochdale confirmed their relegation. Myself and Charlotte kind of were right on the fence as usual. Well, that either means the players are just going to give up, or it means they're going to go, right, shackles are off now. I did mention to her that we're not looking forward to that because we've lost the last 5 and we haven't won the last 9. She went, oh, we're getting battered. I was like, I hope so. I like you, but I really hope so.
I hope so too.
I was delighted they lost yesterday, Sally Field, but I didn't want to be Sutton, put the nail in their coffin.
No, yeah, I mean, that's never nice, is it? No, irregardless of who it is. I mean, there's a couple of clubs I wouldn't mind doing it to, but won't name any names. But yeah, it's never nice to be the people that do that. It's difficult because I think, like you, I probably do want to sit on the fence a little bit of it and say it will either be a case of they know they're done and they can't really be bothered, and they just kind of limp towards the inevitable, or they're if we're going down, we might as well go down in a blaze of glory, I guess is one way of looking at it. But I really don't know. I'd like to think that that we'll use it as an opportunity to really raise our game a little bit, be a little bit happier going towards the end of the season. I would like to, watch a win.
The start of the last
have been really promising.
Really promising. Things have gone against us, and we've gone. Oh.
I think the wheels just keep coming off. It's like it sets out. You start on that journey, pretty decently. The game gets going, and then something happens, and the wheels come off, and we're not quite.
Yeah.
It knocks our game. So there's a confidence issue there. I would imagine that's kind of how it feels.
So, I mean, there was a few comments from different people about put the youngsters, blood some youngsters. And I'm looking at the bench. That's Killian, who's played a fair. Who else?
No, so I mean, I would take a different stance to it there. I think there are people on the bench who, I mean, like Killian, would potentially give him more minutes. I know I've joked about it, but I genuinely would give Luke Gambin a run out. I feel like at this point he could just turn around and go, "Watch me." And that could be a real spark. I do feel like that's the thing that's, we were weak defensively at points yesterday, but there does seem to be that spark missing and that little bit of energy. And I don't think it's that people are lacking passion. You could see people's aggravation at certain things yesterday. You'd be hard pushed to say that Harry doesn't care, because you can just see it written all over his face and his reaction to stuff. So I'd be tempted just to shake the bench up a little bit and let some of those people have a run out. Give Dundo 90, go on, or at least 45. I know that would make a lot of people very happy.
It's also a professional football club. And I did read somewhere, I've not actually researched this point, so I don't know, but where you finish doesn't actually affect any of the money you. So it's like, yes, we want to finish top half, but actually, Luke, apparently he's great to be around the training.
Yeah. He's a real character. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, give them the reward, if you like. Give Roman, I can get him back, but give Roman, look at it.
Yeah.
But, we don't pick the team, and
no, absolutely not.
We trust what
I absolutely do. And I think that, you'd be in other situations. If you were at a different club, you would be saying, 5 on the bounce. There would be conversations that were happening and people would be saying certain things. And I absolutely, this sounds pretty dramatic, I wouldn't tolerate it. Like if someone said to me, he doesn't know what he's doing or whatever, I'm not prepared to listen to that. Like I absolutely, trust Matt's judgment. And I'm sure that there is an absolute plan there. And, there's, I'm excited for next season. I know that's a sad thing to say when you've still got games to go, but I think it's going to be it'll be a tough summer. I think there's going to be a lot of comings and goings. But I think I'm optimistic for next season, she says.
I think a bit of a dramatic to say rebuild. I think there are a few contracts.
Absolutely. I think, there's contracts that are up. And I think there's also, I think there definitely needs to be a bit of a shake-up. As you were saying, you made that point of, we've got people here who played in our championship winning team. There's probably not a lot left that they can give, and maybe we do need to step up a little bit in some spaces, but it'll be interesting to see what happens.
I mean, the calls are obviously we haven't scored enough goals. There's some goals scored, and again, I'm going to labour the point. If we get a goal scored, how long are we going to have? Wimbledon discovered this kid, and the fans are there already going, well, he'd be gone. And they've got way more money than us, or to believe their social media they don't have.
Well, I think they might not have more money than us, but they also have the fact that in the not too distant future, and I can't remember whether it's next year or the following year, they've got to pay back a hell of a lot of money. There's millions that they're meant to be paying back in bonds. Right. And so that's going to severely impact what they can and can't do.
Maybe next year they'll continue being the ones just below us, because I'm not saying it highlights anything, but we lost 4-1 and London fan go and us was 5-1.
And the funny thing there was, I think they were in the same position as us. They went one up, I believe, courtesy of Aaron Pierre, who then subsequently got himself sent off. So none of us covered ourselves in glory there, did we, yesterday?
No. No. But on the recruitment, I mean, I suggested what we saw 7 okay strikers, 3 good. Would mean having one of them on the bench, not necessarily each rotating it. I mean, what are your thoughts there? What's the right way forward? If you were the manager, I know you're not. I don't know, I'm not.
No, and thank God I'm not, because that would be disastrous. I think that's probably the right approach. You're looking for that kind of... You want a dynamic duo, don't you, really? But you need that backup in case something isn't quite right. If someone gets injured, can't play, or whatever. Like, I do think you don't want to spread it really thinly. It would be incredible to have someone that whacked in like 28 a season. But I don't feel like that happens that often for us.
I believe Andy Cook's out. Start some rumours up. Come on.
Well, who else? Let's put some real randoms out there.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the last couple of games, are you expecting anything? Or I mean, we dropped to 12th. It was a little bit disappointing. I know I would have taken 12th at the start of the season. I'm absolutely getting your arm off for 12th in October, November.
Yeah.
But now we got so close, I feel like a bit of a disappointment to drop out.
Yeah.
Is a target to top 10?
I'd like to, absolutely. I think that would be. I think it would be disappointing not to be, because, and I'm the same as you. I would have bitten your arm off for it, but I think because you've been that's slightly bit higher, you think, oh, it'd be nice to be there. I'm gonna say I'm quietly optimistic about Saturday. I reserve judgment on the bank holiday fixture, but we'll see what happens. I there is a little bit of me that's like, we're kind of there now, like it's kind of done. But I think that's just because I'm very tired.
Yeah. Well, the bank holiday fixture has always been a worry. They were going. It's looking like going to pan out that they're solidly in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So they might not to worry.
No, but
they might rest.
Yeah. It just depends on whether or not that's something for, if they're playing for which place they are in that kind of, are you playing for your home fixture or your away fixtures or whatever? Like, there is that kind of element to it, but I think it could be scrappy. I think is what I expect from the last game of the season. But there's lots to celebrate and a lot to be excited about on that day, I think, as well. Lots of good stuff happening down the club that day.
And before we go, let's talk about
your starring football run out of the year, Mike. So on Sunday, the 28th of May,
30.
Which I'm sure you're prepping for, and you've been really working hard towards. Two teams of Sutton United supporters will go head to head on the hallowed turf of Gander Green Lane for the right to be the first team to lift the Sutton United supporters trophy. Somebody wants to win that, surely. Got a good sign up of people. And your exclusive shirt order is in with O'Neill's for the day, which is exciting. We'll be in due course announcing who will be managing the teams. Some exciting Sutton names to chuck into that one. It should be a good day. There'll be a nice raffle, some decent prizes to win, a few signed bits and pieces up for grabs. Come down if you're not playing to either support your friends or to hurl abuse at people that you see on the terraces week in, week out. Including Mike here, who you can, come and berate or build up, I suppose. It should be interesting. There's a mix of people, a mix of ages and abilities, I think is probably the fair point. So playing rolling subs is going to be very important.
Yeah, I did for a worrying second. I'm going to berate him. I just a step in.
Oh, no.
No chances.
I do believe that when I asked you where you played, you sent me an email back that said, it doesn't matter, I'll be crap anywhere. So I wrote that on the spreadsheet so that your manager can...
I didn't.
I was muting it down for the listener.
I said equally shite wherever you put me.
Yeah. Someone then also said to me, I said, where do you play? And they said, left back. I said, okay, cool, left back. And they went, yeah, left back in the changing room. I was like, nice.
Yeah. I did say to Josh, I was like, right, I'm going to left wing. You protect the shit out of me.
I did. I gave Josh a shiny star for being the first person to pay for their appearance. So I
did try and persuade someone at work who plays centre back. He does come to games. I did try and persuade them to play centre back so I could. And he was like, "I'm away that weekend. I don't care. Just come and play football."
I have struggled. I've only got of all the people that signed up, I had one goalkeeper, which obviously my brother. So I've had to bully somebody else into playing in goal for the opposition team. So that'll be funny. Don't worry, it's not you.
Yeah. Phew.
He's just, got to worry that he's got brothers that play in goal, and he can't disgrace the family name.
Oh, excellent. Good. Wonderful. Okay, beautiful. Thank you very much.
Cool.
You know what?
I was going to say also on the, just to plug this as well, on the for the Carlisle game, after the game there will be a Sutton Vets versus kind of ex-Prem team taking place on the pitch. So that is an early kickoff for the Carlisle game, so we should be done by about 2:30. So kickoff will be 3ish. Some Sutton legends donning their boots to run out on the pitch, and some members of staff also, and a host of names, including, I want to say, Ian Selly? Probably, I don't remember. And some other big names from kind of ex-pro world. So that should be interesting, which proceeds then our evening of awards and whatnot that will take place in the NBA. So if you're down for the game on the bank holiday Monday after the coronation, do not rush off. Stay and watch the game, and then stay and have a few drinks to celebrate what's been a cracking season, and see who wins, Player of the Year, Young Player of the Year, Clubman of the Year. That's what everyone's gunning for. That's the one.
The one. Right, beautiful. Thanks you very much. Thanks for that plug. I didn't know about that.
Well, there you go.
I probably should have known a bit more about Premier League players to a reaction. Be like,
I've got no reaction either, because unless they played for Sutton, it means nothing to me. If someone had said, that Gwyn Berry's going to be there, I'd be like, really?
Oh, not. I'm going to have to send him a message. 3 times his name's been mentioned.
There you go. Legend.
Lovely. All right. Thanks a lot, Claire. Thanks, everyone, for listening. We'll catch you next week, I think next one, after the Rochdale performance. And thanks for your time, everyone. Take care. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.
United! 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 United!